Welcome to the Freud's Angels weekly reading, bringing the collective guidance and understanding for this week's energy.
Remember, never give your power up to a reader or a reading. You always have the power of autonomy. Hey, angels. Welcome to your weekly reading. We are reading from September 29th to October 5th. What the fuck? It's October.
It's birthday month.
It's Vanessa's month. It's
Yes.
Vanessa's season. Let's
Yes.
celebrate. Yes, absolutely. I just can't believe it's October, but we are headed into the last part of our eclipse. The window is closing. Yeah, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? A lot of the themes for some of us in this eclipse was the end of people pleasing. Like people pleasing was a big kind of like focus of like not being that way anymore. And I'm like, ooh, okay. Like,
Yeah, my sword has been out. A sword I didn't know I had.
yeah. So how y'all doing? Just wanted to check in and see how things are going. But
it can be hard. I mean, I feel like, like I said, I'm joking about the sword, but I don't know how to wield the sword, so it's really scary,
so
right?
you're
Like, and I
cutting
think
yourself and everybody else while
cutting
you try.
everything. It's wild. It's too heavy for my hands, right?
You're dragging it behind you like I can't pick it up.
Right. Right. And then when you do, it's like the force with which you started, now it took over because you can't stop it. Like once it's an object in motion, stays in motion. Like I don't have the wherewithal or the know-how to stop it from the motion.
Yeah.
It's been wild. And I feel like there's probably a lot of other people out there that are like, why am I like it's hard because you don't know what you're doing to not do it harshly sometimes, because you just want it to be over with.
The thought process that's been in my mind a lot is that, as a people pleaser, you're worried about what do people think and what are they thinking and are they upset or what are they feeling? And you're trying to like knit the sweater before you even understand. At this point, my thoughts have turned into, well, if they have a problem or if they are affected or impacted by whatever I'm doing or not doing, then it's up to them to tell me. It's not my job to police everybody. It's exhausting. Like, I am willing to take ownership and to hear and to sit and be responsible for my actions or non-actions, but I don't know what's impacting you until you fucking tell me.
Right. And even
So,
then, right? Like
yeah,
it can activate the people pleaser that doesn't need to be the people pleaser.
right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's just really hard work. It's hard work to do exactly what you were saying of being like, I'm not going to scan for threats. But then the other part is when somebody brings me a threat, I'm going to have to assess the actual threat situation and
Yeah.
act accordingly, because it's like it'll activate the people pleaser too. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. How can I,
Yeah.
whatever? Like, ugh. Like, no, I'm not so sorry. I might be a little sorry because I didn't mean for you to feel that way, but I'm not sorry for putting a boundary up that hurt your friggin' feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. And it's hard to navigate it in relationships of the past, right? The relationships that maybe are waning or the relationships that are kind of not like present or that because yeah, I'm feeling it in a particular relationship where I don't know the footing because I feel like in some ways I've extracted myself from the situation
Mm.
and I didn't realize how entrenched I was until I extracted myself from it.
It's
When you're
always
like,
the way.
"Oh my god." It's like I was just basically living their energetic life for them
Yeah. Uh-huh.
while they get to have fun.
Uh-huh.
Like, "Oh, I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I'm not good." And,
Yeah.
and she, I mean, she didn't do it on purpose, but, whatever.
Right.
Anyways,
But they
friends.
certainly enjoy the ride,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They got free energetic clearing for many, many, many years, and now not so much, but yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
the eclipse. I mean,
It
I think I've forgotten about it enough times that right now I'm sitting in the like, "Oh, thank God. Thank God it has a name." Right? Like, because it feels so wild, and when something feels out of control, sometimes we really do want to be able to root somewhere. Like we really need to be able to ground in something because it feels too out of control, right?
Yeah.
And so if we're able to ground in like, okay, this is possible of why it feels this way, let yourself use that to your advantage versus feel like you're being tossed around in a tornado for cinematic value.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
I'll be
crazy.
glad when it's gone. I need a break.
Yeah, I do too. Although, I was looking back, and whilst the eclipses happen in different accesses, right now it's in the Libra Aries axis, and last year it was was it the Taurus? I don't remember what it was last year. But each time this happens, there's breakthroughs that happen. I really feel like there's pieces of information that come to us when eclipses happen that we need to take that next step into whatever we're trying to seek, right? Whether
Uh,
it's our personal life, our business, our emotions, our healing, whatever it is we're in, there's a piece of information that's going to be present or understanding that will show up that will help catapult you into that next phase until the next season. And and now that I'm more aware of it since, like, I don't know what, 20, I think it started to be 2022 is when I really started to put the two together and understand every breakthrough and every aha moment and every realization and to create shift has happened during eclipse season for me.
mhm,
And so when you think about it and you can understand that, and looking, if it's on the Aries Libra axis, what planets are in Aries and Libra, and and what does it mean, and really kind of connecting to a really great astrologist online. Even you don't even
mhm,
have to pay for it, but like, and connect and to understand what house it's in for you, what planets are in those houses, how is it impacting you with the north and south node, what is happening for you. Even if you do it hindsight, I like to do things hindsight because then I have a bigger understanding
yeah,
rather than have expectation. It's
mhm,
like, oh, I get it. And, and for me right now, it's about the idea of nurturing the self,
yeah,
regaining that trust in myself and relearning what nurturing looks like and is needed. And also gaining the trust that I will take care of myself in every situation and I won't put others' needs above mine.
yeah,
And that's a big aha moment for me. But I also feel, and this is just like really deeply rooted in my knowing of these moments, Vanessa, I think you're going through a lot of similar things in different capacities, but I
mhm,
really feel that these are the catalyst moments that are helping us
mhm,
bring what we've been asking for all year, the things we've been working towards, the things
mhm,
that we want to achieve. And
yep,
so you get these moments, astrology wise, in that it's like, okay, you've been asking for it, here's that piece that you've been looking for to
mhm,
go and get what it is you're seeking in whatever capacity that is.
yeah. And as you were talking, it was just because I do this a lot. I do the chicken and the egg conversation with my head a lot, where I'm like, did that do it to support you, or did you have the intuitive hit before to get ready because it was coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, and so when you said all that, I was thinking, I wonder if I got like moments of clarity, because I used to talk about not ever knowing where I was going and what I was dreaming of. I have no dreams, right? Like I was so lost in that. And then I started to get rooted in something that was a dream. And I was like, okay, okay. Like, was that my intuitive hit to be like, well, I got shit coming for you. So you better be
Yeah.
ready.
It can be both,
Better be in a good mindset because it's coming.
Yeah. And I think it's both in so
Yeah.
many ways. I really feel that it's both because it's like that, there's something that's preparing you, and when you're in flow and intuition in your heart, it's going to push you in the directions that is coming.
Yeah.
And even though astrology is more of a science and, and intuition is more nebulous, I really feel that there is a bigger understanding at play that we don't even
We
understand
can't.
as
Yeah.
humans. It's
Yeah.
like that
Because
beyond.
there's so many dimensions, right? Like in
Yeah,
layeral and all. I mean, we can get into all of that, but like that's
that's
the thing that's hard for our heads to wrap around. And we have
yeah,
to just go, it is. You know what I
yeah.
mean? There's a lot of things we have
Just
to just go, yeah, it is.
and and the thing of it is, it's like, and I think your mermaid card talks directly to it. Is just about being grateful for being intuitively led into the places that prime you for those moments that happen and give you the bandwidth to see it. And I guarantee if you were in some other space and you were looking to do something else, that would show up as well. It would apply to whatever it is you're moving towards. It doesn't matter whether it's business or relationship or healing or body work. It's all going to be, realization will happen, but it'll apply differently to each one of those sectors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
speaking of our mermaid card today, Vanessa, what she got?
She's talking about that gratitude. That's exactly what it is the gratitude card coming out. And I think like it's a buzzword, man. We talk about, people are like, "Oh my God, gratitude." Like it's a buzzword. Some people do not like to hear this word when I say it because they're like, "I don't wanna," or "I have nothing to be grateful for," or "Why would I be grateful for this trouble that I'm in or this struggle that's happening?" Like where is the gratitude? Right? Like and how could it possibly do anything for me? Right? Like I think we still have an issue with understanding that it can do something for us future wise, right? Like I think a lot of people are really still in the idea that, well, gratitude is just to get you out of the moment, and that's why it doesn't quote unquote work. You can't see my air quotes, but I'm I'm air quoting the works because
Yeah.
I think this is something I had to learn about meditation. Meditation is not a quick fix for your anxiety. If you try to use it as a quick fix for your anxiety, it is not going to work because you can't be in that energy and then call in that energy. It's too big of a divide. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to cross it. What you do is you create a routine of meditation to make your future self less prone to the anxiety. And that means you're not going to see any results for a very long time. You just have to trust that you are creating something within you that is working for you. It's like any other thing when you start your workout program, if you do the drastic things and you see the quick results, it usually doesn't work out that way. The people who have the most success are the people who start slow. They create new routines in their lives. They see zero things happening for a decent amount of time because they just have to know what they're doing is building from the inside out, so you see the outside last.
Yeah.
Right? Like and so like kind of the same thing. Gratitude works the same way, is that sometimes in the moment it gets you out of it, but what you're trying to actually do by having gratitude is create a new vibration that you exist in, a vibration of love, a vibration of appreciation, a vibration of, like the beautiful things in the world. Attaching to that
Yeah.
keeps you there. And so therefore you will attract more of those things. You will be in more of those places. You will reject the energies that don't support that because it will become so familiar to you to be in gratitude and love energy that everything else will feel like, oh my God. So that's what the gratitude practice is. But a lot of people see it as like, oh my God, life sucks. So I have to have a gratitude practice and I can't because life sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're going to have to trust me on this one. That,
Yeah.
all right, you like, and I say it in my space where I'm like, do you trust me? And I make them say because I can tell in the moment that they don't trust the concept. So I have to attach it to me. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't get the concept. You have to, I know you trust me and I know you don't, it's, we talk about the tricks all the time. I'm always talking about the tricks that I have to use of like, if it's my voice that you hear, that's fine because eventually it'll be yours. But if it's mine, that's fine. If anger's all we've got, that's fine. Like everything's fine. Whatever gets us there is fine. Right.
Yeah.
So if you have to do it out of almost guilt that you're going to have to show up and tell me that you decided not to do the exercise, fine, I'll work with it. Do it to not let me down because I know the end result is that it will catch fire for you and you'll get your result. So I don't care. I will use that. I will say, do you trust me? And if you don't trust me, that is okay. But now you're going to have to tell me that.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
And you don't want to tell me that. So you're going to look at me and you're going to believe me because you know why I'm doing it. You know that I would never give you something that I didn't think would work
Right.
because that sucks for everyone. Right. So gratitude practice is really, really, really important for where you're going and less important for where you've been.
And if you want to hear more about gratitude, please check our podcast on Wednesday, by the way, at Yes.
FYI. Oh yeah,
We're
I
gonna
forgot we were gonna do that. I should have saved all that.
I know. I'm like, Vanessa, save it for the podcast.
I totally forgot.
Not that we don't have enough of the ability to talk about anything and everything forever. I mean, come on now. We should.
Whatever.
That's why I
Maybe
was
people will
like,
need to hear it twice, so they
yeah,
hear it on here and
exactly.
then they'll hear it on the podcast. Anyway, go ahead. What do we got over there? What did you pull?
So Miss Angel is like my cat, by the way. Those who don't know, that's my cat. She has decided she wants to be on the podcast today. She is front and center.
Can I tell
She
you,
is,
all week animals have done this. I had a
yeah,
cat in the camera yesterday.
yeah.
I have a dog in the background. I'm like, animals love to be in this space.
When the energy is right, they're right. Or
Mhm.
they're as bored and they want you to play with them as mine does because they want to be entertained because she wants to be entertained and played with. And so now she's going to be in my face until I stop doing what I'm doing and do it because that's what she does. She either gets in my face or she meows at me like she's meow,
Yeah,
like I'm
pathetic.
so bored.
I know.
Anyways, sorry. You didn't know you were getting cat hour. But and then she's going to walk on the keyboard because she knows I hate it. So surrender. Yeah, get off. So the surrender card for this week, guys. Sorry, you didn't need to.
Y'all
Um,
can't see what's happening, but the tail keeps
I
going
know,
right
right?
in front of Grace's face for me.
If only you all could see this. It's like quite hysterical, but it's funny. So surrender. We're going to surrender comparisons with other people. Oh
Mm,
Lord. Oh Lord.
mm, mm,
Is this a very timely thing for us to get and a very timely thing for us to consider? And what it says is keep your eyes trained on yourself, focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. And I think that that's relevant, especially now. I mean, because when we're comparing ourselves to other people, we're looking to others to tell us how good we are.
mhm.
There's that sense of like, I don't know if I'm okay until you tell me I'm okay. And that is so it I've lived that life for so long. And it is so hard because you're constantly not knowing, if you're okay and you're like, are you okay? Am I okay? Are we okay? Like, is everything okay? Like, we're constantly need that reassurance that everything is good. And then we get labeled as needy people, but that's another podcast. And, and it feels so hard because you don't trust that yourself or you're needing that sense of outer validation because there's a distrust
Yeah.
in yourself and who you are and your abilities or whatever you're doing in that situation.
Hmm.
So it's hard. It's because it steals any type of, I think, connection. Like when I started doing this work and connecting to that space and cultivating a very deep sense of intuition and connection to spirit and all my guides and all the things on the other side, it's very nebulous. It's very hard. I trust them, but I don't know that I trusted myself in bringing forth what that person needed or the messages that were needed. And it it was very hard for me to sit in this type of space and do readings and do healings and not be like, did they get anything? Are they
Hmm.
connected? Is there like there was this constant sense of like needing things to hit home. And so when things didn't hit home for people because either it wasn't time for enough for them to understand it, I felt responsible. I felt like I failed. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like and and it's
Yeah, like
hard.
I'm apparently a puppeteer in my own mind. Right? Like,
It's
damn it.
it's it's just hard because you don't have
Yeah,
the faith in what you do
yeah,
and how connected you are. And I
yeah.
know that there are many other places that comes up for people, but I think you're also setting yourself up to give so much of your power away to what other people think and
Mhm,
not realizing that their opinion of you has nothing to do with you, to be honest. What people feel about us, while we are responsible for our actions and our words and stuff, I feel that a lot of times how people feel is through their own lenses,
Of
their
course,
own projections of who they are.
the only lens they have is the only lens we all have is our own.
And so if you're not meeting their need, or if you're not doing what they think you should do, of course they're not going to feel good, and they're not going to feel positive about you and tell you. And it's also a manipulation thing, right? It comes from deep, deep, deep people pleasing and needing to read the room and needing to make sure I'm okay. And to the only way to be okay is to make sure we did everything everybody else wanted us to do.
Mhm.
And that can be very hard. But I think being an entrepreneur, especially,
Mhm.
that's a very hard thing to let go of, is comparing yourself to the person that's doing something similar and how successful they are.
Well, or using comparison again, like we using it to your advantage instead of to your disadvantage, right? Like comparison doesn't always have to be negative, but we're created in that light, where it's like we have to like like I played sports my whole life, right? Like, so you're always comparing yourself to the friggin' MVP or to some whatever because you want to be the best and all that kind of stuff. And if somebody's better than you, you're like, oh no, right? Like, but if you can shift that mindset to what are they doing? I'm gonna do it because I want to do it, right? Like, then your comparison has now not devalued you. It has empowered you to make different choices if you want to make different choices, if you want a different result, right? And that I feel like that's what because eradicating um, comparison isn't possible. I think we just are gonna do it because we see things and we have feelings about them, whether they're negative or positive, but we're trying to examine what that comparison is doing so that we can use it to our advantage instead of to our disadvantage. We have to be able to be aware of that, right? Like, so if I sit with like there's plenty of entrepreneurs that I look at and I'm like, Jesus, like I'm never going to be Tony Robbins. I'm never going to be Tony Robbins. Why am I never going to be Tony Robbins? Not because I'm good enough, because I don't want to do what he does. He works a lot. I don't want to work a lot. Right? So when I did my comparison prior to understanding this concept, man, I felt like I was shitty at what I did, right?
Mhm.
Because I was like, well, I don't have the success he has, so I must be bad at what I'm doing, right? Like people don't love me like they love Tony Robbins. I must not be good at it. And it was like, or what you can do is look at why you're comparing yourself, and this is where that gratitude can come in.
Yeah.
I am very grateful that I am not Tony Robbins because again, he works way harder than I want to. That's the end of the story for me. I don't want to work that hard. And I have no problem saying that out loud. I want stuff, right? Like, and I want certain experiences in my life, but I don't want my life to be working all the time. So if that's what it takes to get that result, I don't want that. So I'm going to detach from my comparison from him. Now, if I see somebody doing less and having the same thing, you bet I'm going to compare in a different way and go, well, how can I do that? Right? Because that is a person that does it the way I want to. I'm not going to use it to devalue me. I'm going to use it to motivate me. Right? Ooh, there's somebody who's doing it the way I want to do it. How do I get it? How do I get it? Right? Comes from all that deep work of in myself, though, right? To not let that comparison devalue me, that comparison to turn it into motivation. It's a transmutation that you have to learn how to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, friends. Well, deep thoughts, but
Like, what a
I know.
reading.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so we're recording this so much later than we normally do because we've had an intense morning of like talking and sharing and being vulnerable. And I think we're both like, whoa, my God, we're about at a vulnerability hangover moment. And we still have the podcast to record.
Whee!
Fascinating. We are gonna like just stay, come back Wednesday for that because that's gonna be interesting. Um,
Sure is.
but this is what we love to do,
Yeah.
and we love being here, and this is a place for both of us to really step into the who we are. So yeah, join us on Wednesday and stick around. In the next couple of weeks, we have a really great offer for you. We're teaming up with one of my favorite entrepreneurs, and to bring you something super special. And I am excited. And it's the first time we've ventured outside of ourselves in order to share something of someone else's. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, we will see you on Wednesday. If not, we'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.
We hope we gave you something to support your journey.
Check out our Facebook or Instagram page to connect with us.
Have a great week.